I'm trying to turn this off. There you go. Several different things going on all at the same time. And as I said, God has given me the direction to change the name from the Father's Plan virtual service line to Arise Global Fellowship virtual service, because Arise Global Fellowship is the actual fellowship that God has birthed into the atmosphere, into the kingdom. There have been ministries that have come to me and asked if I would cover them. And I count it a privilege and I count it an honor. I don't take that lightly, because what I see is they saw something in me and the life that I've lived and the life that I'm living before them, that they were drawn to me. God uses different people for different lanes, for different bait, for different groups of people. We cannot be all things to everybody. But to those that he has assigned us to, we have to fulfill the mandate that God has given to us. And that is my primary goal in life. That's what I live and I breathe for. Arise comes from my godmother. Because, and everyone that knows me, I speak about them, and I always will. Because if it had not been for Jessie Mae Lester, and if it had not been for Essie Mae Jones, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for Ella Ellerson and a Margaret Ellerson, and of course Pauline Chase, and Josephine Ellison Brown, and these are strong women that have pushed me, that have girded me up, and the late Joe Genis, and there are a host of them that have poured into me over the years since I was a child. Before I even knew that this was going to even come about, I was surrounded by women that love God. Whether I was trying to live for God or not was irrelevant. Whether I had the mind to do was irrelevant. They lived the life before me. And we get different mantles passed to us. And when the mantle is passed, it's passed for a specific reason. Because just like someone had to come across your path, we have to come across others' paths. And others will come across our path. And we have to be mindful of what God has given to us to do. Life is not always easy. Life is not always fair. But that has nothing to do with it either. God has a purpose and God has a plan for each and every one of us. And if you notice, the caption for today is, I was born to die, death becomes me. I've had a lot of people say, well, why are you writing things up under that name? Or why are you doing this up under that name? Because it's the truth. I was born to die. Death becomes me. And actually, that should be your motto as well. Because as you die daily, your flesh dies, your will dies, your ways die, and the way and the will and the purpose of God for your life will begin to birth and begin to manifest, and you begin to walk it out. That's one good aspect of it. But I didn't always see it that way. I literally thought that, God, why did you let my mama have me? Why? I was raised up in what I call a little hell. Yes, you have people around you. Yes, you have family around you, but you are literally by yourself. People say you're exaggerating. You're exaggerating. No. And when we stop passing judgment on people and assuming that they're making things up in their minds, that they're, well, it couldn't have been that bad, until you walked in that person's shoes, it would be best that you not pass judgment on that. But even through that, those of us that have survived that hell of our childhood, that hell of our teenage years, and even coming into our young adult and our adult years, we owe it to others to share. We owe it to others to tell them about the goodness of God. We owe it to others to tell them, yes, I've been out on the street. Yes, I may have tricked. Yes, I was on drugs. Yes, I may have been going from pillar to post. Yes, I may have done all of this. But let me tell you how I came out of it. See, we think that we just have to talk about that part and stay right there. No. When you tell people your story, make sure you give them the blueprint, the roadmap as to how you came out. True enough, no two people will come out the same way. But for the time that they are going through, at least they know that there's someone else that has gone through the trenches, gone through the struggles, gone through the hard times, gone through the rejection, and they made it. They didn't make it with it being easy. They didn't make it where they didn't stumble sometimes. They didn't fall. They didn't go back into it, but they made it. I was born to die. Death becomes me. "54 years of living. Whew, Jesus, 54 years of living. And not always living, but sometimes existing. 54 years. Marriages, divorces, mental struggles, financial struggles, sexual struggles, emotional struggles. But through it all, the hand of the Lord was on me. Through it all, God always placed an angel to guide me through. Through it all, the Lord always saw fit to give me a live roadmap. Meaning someone that was living right where I was, and I was able to see how they maneuvered, how they came out of it. And they weren't ashamed to come back and tell me. They weren't ashamed to come back and grab me. They weren't ashamed to come back and knock me upside my head sometimes and pull me. So yes, I was born to die. Death becomes me. And I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving it. Life is good. Life is, in fact, real good. May not always have everything that I was accustomed to having, but you know what? At times, when I had all the money, had all the riches and all this other, I wasn't appreciative of what I had. Because I assumed that it was going to always be there. Living for God, loving God, paying my tithes, serving God, but I assumed it was always going to be there. So, he snatched it. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. But I'm still here. When I go to the prisons, when I go over to City Rescue Mission, when God allows me to go and minister to the women and to the men and sometimes to the youth that are in various shelters and various organizations, and when I never walk in haughty and high-minded. But I walk in remembering where I came from. I walk in remembering how sometimes didn't have food to eat. Just had to make it to the next week for payday so I could make sure Because I was going to make sure, my children ate, but I could go without. I'm good. And then Lord started showing me. He says, not so much that you didn't have food to eat. You didn't have what you wanted to eat. Sometimes we get spoiled. And then I would find those times when I didn't have what I wanted to eat or what they wanted to eat. And he would have me go in the cabinets or go in the refrigerator or what have you and put together a meal that tastes so much better than I would have fixed when I had what I wanted to eat. Be thankful for the little things. My children were blessed because they had people, they were surrounded by strong, godly men and women that lived a godly lifestyle before them, a God-conscious lifestyle before them, in and outside of the church. Although I was running with drug dealers and con artists and flim flammers and, I was dating them in the whole 9 yards, I still stayed in church. I still kept them around a different group of people. And I guess I thought I was going to protect them from that, But the Bible is true. You have to reap what you sow. And most times your reaping is from the very one that you would never think it would happen, or by way that you never thought it would. But it is like, wow, when you look back, the song says, when I look back over my life and I begin to think things over, I can truly say that I've been blessed. I got a testimony. Yeah. I can't thank him for everything because I can't even name everything. Well, let me rephrase it. I can thank him for everything, but I can't think of everything that he's brought me through because I have no idea. There are some things that he brought me through I am clueless about. Totally clueless. And that's okay too. Because there are some things that I know God did not intend for me to know about, because there is no telling how the end result would have been had I been aware of it. Some of us should be dancing for joy. Running and dancing like David did and dancing out of our clothes because God hid some things from us. God did not allow us to know every detail that was happening in and around our lives while we were going through some of the things that we were going through. Be it the good times or the bad times or the mediocre times. It was a good thing that he kept it from us. It was a good thing that he cut some people off from us. But in the time frame that they were a part of our lives, we learned some things. Now, some of those things in the street were not productive. But it's amazing how God can take some of the very things that we did in our street life and bring them over to our saved life and have us operate in that very same flow, but from a godly perspective, from a God-conscious aspect of it, doing kingdom work. And we're still enjoying it, still having fun, still living large, still enjoying life, having afflictions in our bodies, children acting crazy, husband, wife acting crazy. But through it all, we keep trusting God. Through it all, we keep believing God. So, tonight, and probably as of right now for the next 4 weeks, on Monday night, on our virtual service line, we're going to come from different passages, different passages of the word that reflect on us having to crucify our flesh. Us having to choose life or death. Some people didn't make wise decisions. Then there are some that made very healthy decisions. I'm going to ask that you be honest to yourself first, and then open and honest to the people that will call in on the line, that will hear the playback, or may even view the live stream or the video. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to give your location or your region, because it will be broadcast over the air as well, because we're going to do it, like I said, through our virtual line. But then there will be some that are actually online with us, and they will be able to chime in. But I really want to hear the heart of the people. This is not a call just for those that are churched. Let me make that clear. Because one thing I've learned, and I'm so grateful for it, and I'm sure several other people will attest to the same thing, that